Big George Foreman, one of the most influential and recognizable boxers of all time, died Friday, his family announced on his social media account. He was 76. Foreman was more than just a fighter. He was a man whose impact extended far beyond the boxing ring, leaving behind a legacy that will be remembered for generations to come. His story is one of resilience, redemption, and remarkable achievements that captivated millions across the world. Foreman, who won an Olympic gold medal in 1968, was a two-time heavyweight champion and Hall of Fame boxer. His dominance inside the ring, combined with his larger-than-life personality, made him an unforgettable figure in sports history. But his journey to the top was anything but easy. Born into poverty in Marshall, Texas in 1949, Foreman had a rough childhood. He often spoke about his troubled youth, his involvement in street fights, and how he was headed down the wrong path. However, a turn of fate brought him into the sport of boxing, where he found discipline, focus, and a purpose that would change his life forever. He is perhaps best known for the historic rumble in the jungle bout with Muhammad Ali in 1974 in Zaire, a fight Foreman lost in an upset via eighth-round knockout. It's arguably the most famous fight of all time, and the When We Were Kings film that chronicled the fight won an Oscar for Best Documentary Feature. This fight wasn't just about boxing, it was about strategy, psychology, and a battle of ideologies. Foreman, known for his raw power, was expected to steamroll Ali. However, Ali's famous rope-a-dope tactic exhausted Foreman, leading to his shocking defeat. It was a moment that humbled Foreman, forcing him to re-evaluate himself not only as a fighter but as a man. Foreman made history yet again later in his career. He fought 5 more times after he lost the heavyweight championship to Ali at age 25, including a 5th-round TKO victory over Joe Frazier, whom he stopped in 2 rounds to first win the title, and a 5th-round knockout of Ron Lyle in a classic slugfest. His battles with Frazier and Lyle showcased the brutal nature of heavyweight boxing at its peak. Through that 5th fight at 28, Foreman shockingly announced his retirement and began a career as an ordained minister in his native Texas. It was an unexpected turn, but it showed a different side of the man who once struck fear into opponents. He dedicated himself to faith, charity, and helping the youth, proving that he was more than just his fists. Foreman was retired for 10 years. He returned to boxing in 1987 at age 38 and mounted arguably the most impressive sports comeback ever. Many doubted his return. They laughed at the idea of a middle-aged man stepping back into the ring against younger, faster, and seemingly more skilled fighters. But Foreman defied expectations. He wasn't the same ferocious puncher from the 70s, but he had something many fighters lacked: wisdom and experience. He understood the sport differently this time around, pacing himself, using his size advantage, and relying on well-placed punches rather than sheer aggression. First, Foreman padded his record with easy wins. One of them was a second-round knockout of Jerry Cooney. But in 1991, Foreman proved this comeback was for real when he pushed the great Evander Holyfield to the brink in a classic heavyweight title fight at age 42. Though he was unsuccessful in his bid to become a 2-time heavyweight champion, Foreman was undeterred. His battle against Holyfield was a testament to his determination. He went the distance with a prime Holyfield, something that even younger fighters struggled to do. It was at that moment that the world realized Foreman wasn't back for a quick paycheck. He was here to compete. 5 fights later, after a loss to Tommy Morrison, Foreman accomplished the unthinkable. Down on the scorecards in another title fight, Foreman landed a 2-punch combination that laid Michael Moorer down for the count of 10 in 1994. At 45 years, 299 days old, Foreman was once again the heavyweight champion of the world, the oldest man to hold boxing's greatest prize, and also the oldest champion ever, a record that stood for 20 years. It was a surreal moment. The image of an older, bald Foreman standing over the fallen Moorer became one of the most iconic moments in boxing history. He had done what was thought to be impossible. He had rewritten history. "It happened," Jim Lampley called on the HBO broadcast. "It happened." Those words captured the sheer disbelief and joy of the moment. Foreman had completed one of the greatest comebacks in sports history, proving that age was just a number and that willpower could overcome even the steepest odds. His victory was more than just a win, it was an inspiration to millions who were told they were too old or past their prime. Foreman went on to have a successful career alongside Lampley as an HBO boxing analyst. But his greatest success outside the ring was yet to come. The same year that Foreman defeated Moorer, he launched his eponymous grill, which went on to sell more than 100 million units worldwide. In 1999, he sold the commercial rights to the George Foreman grill for $138 million. The grill became a household name, revolutionizing the way people cooked and making Foreman a cultural icon beyond sports. His jovial personality, combined with his marketing savvy, turned him into a beloved figure in homes across the world. Foreman's final fight came in November 1997, a majority decision loss to Shannon Briggs. He held his role with HBO as a ringside analyst for 12 years, ending in 2004. His commentary was insightful, often humorous, and filled with the wisdom of a man who had seen it all in boxing. His presence in the sport continued long after he hung up his gloves, mentoring young fighters and offering his perspective on the ever-changing landscape of heavyweight boxing. The Ring named Foreman the 9th greatest puncher of all time and, in 2002, one of the 25 best boxers of the past 80 years. His accomplishments inside the ring, combined with his incredible second act, ensured that his name would never be forgotten. Few athletes in history have managed to reinvent themselves the way Foreman did. He went from a feared boxer to a beloved figure, from a knockout artist to a preacher, from a champion to an entrepreneur. His story is one of evolution, proving that people are not defined by their past but by how they choose to shape their future. In a statement, Top Rank called Foreman one of the biggest punchers and personalities the sport has ever seen. His impact stretched far beyond boxing. He was a symbol of perseverance, a man who faced setbacks but never let them define him. He was a reminder that greatness isn't just about winning titles but about how one carries themselves through life's battles. George was a great friend to not only myself but to my entire family, Top Rank Chairman Bob Arum said. We've lost a family member and are absolutely devastated. Those words echoed the sentiments of many who knew Foreman personally. He was not just a fighter but a deeply compassionate man who valued relationships and treated people with kindness. Lampley said Foreman's death was a massive loss and that he feels blessed and privileged to have known him. Tonight, I am flooded with tears after learning of the death of my dear friend and broadcast partner George Foreman. I loved him, Lampley said in a statement. He was a great fighter and a far, far greater human being. Every great thing that ever happened to him, and there were many extraordinary blessings, was richly deserved. My thoughts and prayers tonight are with his family and his friends and his congregation. His words captured the emotion felt across the world as people mourned the loss of a legend. Foreman's life was an extraordinary journey of triumphs, failures, redemption, and reinvention. He was proof that second chances exist and that success is not limited by age, setbacks, or past mistakes. His impact will continue to inspire athletes, entrepreneurs, and dreamers alike. He was more than just a boxer. He was a symbol of perseverance, strength, and the power of never giving up. He will be missed, but his legacy will live on forever.